You stand in front of the open fridge at 11 at night. You are not hungry. You just need something sweet. Your hand reaches for it before your mind even agrees to the decision. This happens every month, like clockwork, a few days before your period arrives. You have probably blamed yourself for it. Weak willpower, you think. No self-control, you think. But the real answer is far stranger. It has nothing to do with willpower at all. It reaches back over 2 million years into a body built by hunger, by scarcity, by ice. Picture a woman standing on the cold edge of a savanna 40,000 years ago. Her body does not know grocery stores. Her body does not know refrigeration. Her body only knows one rule: store energy when you can find it, because you will not always find it. Food was never guaranteed. A meal today did not promise a meal tomorrow. And her reproductive system, the most energy-expensive system she carried, needed fuel more than any other part of her. Here is what almost nobody tells you. Ovulation and pregnancy are not just emotional events. They are metabolic events. Building an egg, thickening a uterine lining, preparing tissue that could become a placenta, all of it burns calories fast. The female body, across the entire span of human evolution, has treated reproduction like an athlete treats a marathon. You do not run a marathon on an empty stomach. So why would your body prepare for a possible pregnancy without preparing you to eat? The nutrition researcher Judith Wertman spent decades at MIT studying why carbohydrate cravings intensify in women in the days before menstruation. She found something remarkable. It was not about mood alone. It was about brain chemistry directly tied to hormone shifts. As estrogen and progesterone rise and fall across the cycle, the brain's serotonin levels shift with them. Carbohydrates help the brain produce serotonin. Your body, without asking your permission, starts steering you toward the exact foods that will fix a chemical imbalance you did not even know was happening. Feel that for a second. Your craving is not a flaw. It is a message. It is your ancient body speaking in the only language it has ever known, the language of hunger. Now go back further, long before agriculture, long before bread, long before sugar even existed as something a person could buy. Sweetness in nature meant something very specific. It meant ripe fruit. It meant safe, energy-dense, quickly digestible calories. Bitter meant possible poison. Sweet meant survival. Every human alive today descends from women who were exceptionally good at noticing sweetness and reaching for it first. The evolutionary anthropologist Sarah Blaffer-Hrdy has spent much of her career examining how female reproductive biology shaped human survival strategies. Her research paints a picture of ancestral women constantly negotiating between the demands of their own bodies and the demands of the children they were already raising or might soon carry. A woman's body could not afford to wait for hunger to become desperation. It needed an early warning system. It needed to crave fuel before fuel became urgent. Doesn't that sound familiar? Doesn't that sound exactly like standing at the fridge at 11 at night? There is another piece to this puzzle, and it involves fire. The primatologist Richard Wrangham has argued that cooking transformed the human diet by making calories easier to extract from food. Once early humans controlled fire, meals became denser in energy, faster to digest, and more reliable in supply. But reliability is a modern luxury dressed up in old bones. Even with fire, even with cooked food, scarcity could return in a single bad season. A drought, a failed hunt, a harsh winter. The body that survived was the body that never fully trusted abundance. It kept preparing for famine, even in the middle of plenty. So picture that ancestral woman again. A few days before menstruation, her progesterone is dropping. Her body interprets this shift the same way it has interpreted every hormonal shift for millions of years, as a signal that a reproductive window may be closing, that resources may be needed, that energy stores must be topped up just in case. She feels an unmistakable pull toward the ripest fruit in reach, the fattiest marrow in the bone, the richest food available. She does not question it. She simply eats. Her body thanks her the only way it knows how, by easing tension, by steadying her mood, by preparing her for whatever comes next. Now compare her to you. You reach for chocolate. You reach for bread. You reach for anything sweet and soft and immediate. And somewhere in the back of your mind, a small, cruel voice tells you this is weakness. But you are not weak. You are running software written before written language existed. You are carrying a survival strategy so old it predates the wheel, predates the written word, predates every city ever built. Here is where the story gets even more interesting. Modern researchers studying premenstrual symptoms have repeatedly found that carbohydrate cravings are not random. The nutrition scientist Elizabeth Sommer documented how a shortage of serotonin in the days before menstruation directly correlates with an increased desire for starchy, sugary foods. Eating those foods is not indulgence, it is regulation. Your body is trying to fix a chemical gap using the only tool that has ever reliably worked across the whole of human history: food. Isn't it strange that something so ancient still runs quietly beneath your daily life? You live in a world of thermostats and streetlights and delivery apps. Your body does not know any of that. Your body still behaves as if famine could arrive at any moment. It still treats a few days of hormonal shift as a reason to stockpile calories, exactly the way your ancestors did when a bad season could mean real hunger. Think about what this means for the women who came before you. Think about a mother nursing a child through a lean winter, her body pulling every spare calorie toward milk production, while her own hunger screamed for something dense and sweet. Think about a young woman noticing, for the first time, that her body wanted fruit more urgently in certain weeks than others, with no one around to explain why. She had no vocabulary for hormones. She had no charts, no calendars, no apps tracking her cycle. She only had the craving itself, and she trusted it, because trusting it kept her alive. That trust got passed down. Generation after generation, the women whose bodies craved energy at the right moments were the ones who survived hard seasons, carried pregnancies to term, and nursed children successfully. Their daughters inherited the same craving, and their daughters after them, all the way down to you, standing in front of an open fridge, wondering why you cannot stop thinking about something sweet. There is a twist here that changes how you might see the whole story. You might assume this craving exists purely for reproduction, purely for the possibility of pregnancy. But researchers now understand it runs deeper than that. It is tied to the entire hormonal rhythm of the menstrual cycle itself, whether or not pregnancy is ever intended or even possible. Your body doesn't ask about your life plans. It doesn't know about contraception, about careers, about choosing not to have children. It simply repeats the same ancient pattern every month, because that pattern kept the species alive for hundreds of thousands of years before anyone had the freedom to choose otherwise. Here is the modern mirror, the place where all of this ancient biology lands directly on your ordinary Tuesday night. You are not broken for wanting sugar before your period. You are not undisciplined. You are a woman whose body is doing exactly what female bodies have done since before humans could speak, before they wore clothes, before they built shelter from anything sturdier than branches and hide. You are carrying out a survival instruction written into your biology long before anyone thought to write anything down at all. So the next time that craving hits, the next time your hand reaches for something sweet without asking your permission first, try something different. Instead of guilt, try recognition. You are not failing at self-control. You are listening to a voice that has kept women alive across ice ages, famines, migrations, and the collapse of entire ecosystems. That voice has never once been wrong about what your body needs in that exact moment. You stand in front of the open fridge again, but this time, you understand what is actually happening. It is not a lapse. It is a memory, carried in your blood, older than agriculture, older than fire, older than language itself, and it is simply asking you, the way it has asked every woman before you, to eat.